Brace yourselves for unusually cold, wet and windy conditions in certain parts of the country this weekend. This as the South African Weather Services has issued multiple warnings for the country, including very cold, wet and windy conditions over the Western Cape and the Northern Cape, damaging winds for the Eastern Cape and snowfall for parts of the country. Let's get the latest update from the South African Weather Services' Lehlohonolo Thobela. Thank you so much, Lehlohonolo, for speaking to us this evening. So weather warnings are, abounding. We have a couple that have been issued across different levels. Level 2 for waves, resulting in difficulty in navigating at sea. That's expected between Saldanha Bay and Cape Agulhas in the evening. We've got winds that are going to be an issue, disruptive snowfall leading to major mountain passes being closed. I think perhaps because South Africa is generally such a hot country in summer, snowfall might be probably the most exciting prospect for some South Africans. Tell us a little bit more about what we can expect in terms of snow across the country this weekend.
Good evening and thanks for having me. In terms of snow, yes, we're expecting very cold conditions with the cold front having made landfall over the southwestern parts of the country, making landfall over the Western Cape province, expected to move across tomorrow. That's when we start expecting snow in the high-lying areas of the Western Cape and the southern parts of Northern Cape province. The cold front, as it moves further east along the south coast, is to bring about showers and rain, especially along the south coast, spreading over to the east coast. Most of the snow is expected along the Drakensberg Mountains in the Eastern Cape, spreading over to Lesotho and the Lowveld of Mpumalanga. That would also reach the areas around Fourkrass and Dalstroom, and that's where the snow is expected mostly between Sunday and Monday. Then cold conditions are expected mainly over Gauteng as well as most parts of the country, with very cold conditions expected over the southern parts, spreading over to the eastern parts of the country, and most conditions of cold and very cold conditions are expected mostly overnight on Sunday into Monday.
When we're talking about very cold conditions, are we going into the minus temperatures, right?
Not yet minus, but you can imagine a maximum temperature during the day of less than 10 degrees Celsius, up to 10 degrees Celsius.
Okay, that is quite cold. We know it usually doesn't snow in Johannesburg, but every 3 or 4 years we get a light dusting of snow here. But we know that snow very rarely falls when the temperatures do go below 0 degrees. So what is the realistic likelihood of experiencing snow in Johannesburg anytime this weekend?
The thing about snow is that you just need moisture and the freezing levels to be about Johannesburg's height. So right now, as we speak, the freezing levels around Mpumalanga's Lowveld are meeting the criteria for it to receive snow. Johannesburg not likely as much, but the models still show that the Lowveld moving over to some parts of the western parts of the KZN are yet to experience snow.
So when we're talking about snow, we know social media abounds with photographs of families that have traveled with their children to show them snow for the first time. And while that can be a magical outing, there are also dangers related to these kind of weather conditions, especially when we see icy roads, when there is so much wind and wet weather along with those freezing temperatures. What is the South African Weather Service saying to people in terms of what they should be doing or restricting themselves from doing?
As much as it can be an exciting process, especially in South Africa, having granted that we don't get much of snow in times, it is also advised that if people are yet to chase snow, we usually chase storms, but now people are chasing snow. As much as people are to chase snow conditions, we did get a few calls today about where can we go see snow and everything. But I think as much as people are so keen to go check, they must just drive with caution, because I think when you're driving, a thing about a car, you can really get disrupted in how you're driving and the speed of you, and not be even able to stop the car once you're driving around icy roads. It doesn't matter what speed you're in, it just depends on the safety. And if you see that there is an amount of snow that is beyond what you can drive about, I suggest you stop the car and start moving over to those areas and walk and experience the snow as much as you want to experience it. But remember to be warm.
Thank you so much, Lehlohonolo Thobela from the South African Weather Service. And of course, we have seen in past years where people chasing snow were stuck, where roads were closed and they actually couldn't leave the area, stuck in a car at those freezing temperatures. Now, that definitely is not fun.